Good morning everyone, thank you for joining me. This is my second video on palm weaving, and hopefully you've seen my first video on making a hat from a palm leaf. That's the tree that you can see behind me here, just up there, hope you can see that. On my first video I showed you how to make a hat and where to get the leaves and everything from, and how to prepare it. So I'm just going to, hopefully you can click on the link down here somewhere and have a look at that video to show you how to see which branch you need and how to prepare it. So here's what I'm going to be making you, showing you how to make today. This is a bowl, a fruit bowl made from a coconut palm leaf, and it's all quite neat. It is quite unique because this centre bit here, I've only ever seen this done in Barbados and in St Lucia. A lot of the centres are quite different to this one, but I'm going to show you how to do this one. It's a little bit more difficult, but it's still worth it at the end of the day because it looks really pretty. Okay, so I'll just show you a bit more then. So to start the basket, I've prepared all the leaf now. I've cut this off the tree now. I've got a couple of millimetre band of centrepiece of the leaf, and I've marked up on this one. You need it as round as you can, a perfect circle as you can, because this is going to be made into a round basket. Whereas a hat, it's egg shaped for a person's head. This is going to have to be left round. So I've had this overnight just in this position. It just helps you to make an easier weave of it. So I'll just trim these bits off. Bits of tape off. So I'm going to start by just telling you a bit about the preparation. There I've managed to try and get a perfect circle with a band on this side of no more than 2 millimetres, and it needs to be a perfect circle this time. Rather than the hat was oval shape, this needs to be circular because it's going to be a nice round bowl. Now I've tied it together, I've put this together, I've managed to use some binding on here to actually bind the two parts together to make the circle. But you've also got to look at the thickness of the leaf. Now if you look at the thickness of the leaf here, that's quite a thick leaf, and where you've joined to here, it's not quite so thick. So sometimes you have just to trim these down just a little bit to make it so that all the leaves are at the same thickness. Otherwise you end up with a basket that's tipped up. So you need just size the leaf. I'll show you how to do that. So that's the thinnest leaf there, and that's the thickest leaf there. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are really thick. So I'm going to just trim them down. And the way I do it is I just get my knife and I just nick it there, like so. And then what you can do then, you can just pull them off where you've nicked it, and it just sizes the leaf and it makes them all the same size. That's what you're trying to do. There's another couple here that need just doing, so that all the leaves are roughly the same size. So that's the preparation done. I've got all these leaves now, and they're all around about the same size, so that when you've got all the basket together, it'll all be nice and level. It won't be tipped up. So now I'm going to start to do the plaiting and make the sides of the basket first before we do the centre. The centre comes last. And what I do here is I've sized the leaves, as you've just seen. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to start with one of the leaves and miss 3. There's 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to plait through 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back in the hole. And then I start with this leaf, and I miss 3 again. There's the 3 I'm missing, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, back in the hole. Leave these loose because you've got to go back into them, just the same as with the with the hat. Hope you can see that. And then again, one over, miss 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, back in the hole. Miss 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, back in the hole. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, back in the hole. Miss 3 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, back in the hole. 1, 2, 3, 4, back in the hole. 1, 2, 3, miss 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can see now I'm starting to go back into the loop. That's why you need to keep this loose. Keep putting it back in the hole so you don't get low. You hold all the leaves in this hand here in your left hand, unless you're right handed, you do it the opposite way to me. So miss 3 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back in the hole. All I'm doing now is going back in these loops. So miss 3 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, back in the hole, and again, miss 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, back in the hole, and again. Miss 3 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, back in the hole, and the last one, 1, 2, 3, you can still see them there, and that's where you've got to go there. So miss 3, 1, 2, the last one is the most awkward, but you can still do it. 3, 4. Then all you do then, you push these others back through the hole where you've just pulled through, and then you start to form it and make it a basket shape. I know it looks a bit uneven and a bit messy as it is at the moment, but just watch how this comes together. Right, so what you do, you start to pull these here, and you see the outer bands start to pull together. So you just do this nice and gently all the way round. You can see the basket starting to form. And they're starting to form nicely. And I'm going to now compact this now and tighten it all up, and I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. And there you have it. All I've done is I've tensioned these up. I've just pulled these ends of the leaves here, and it's all tightened up nicely, pulled together nicely, and made a nice shape, nice curved shape, and it looks nice on the top. So that's the easy bit done. Now the hard bit is in the middle, just the same as making a hat. It's always the centerpiece that's always the hardest. So what I'll do is I collect all these leaves together. I'm just going to show you a bit more about the basket than me. So you just collect, let me just drown a little bit more. You collect all these leaves together, and what you do then is you just trim the tops off, so making a flat on top of the leaf. Now you'll understand why I've done that in a minute, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick these up in my hand and just show you how to form that pretty swirl in the middle of the hat. Now, if you remember when I did the hat, I was actually telling you to pick the leaves up like you pick a set of cards up. This is going to be slightly different, because you actually pick the cards up in the opposite direction to what you normally do. And what I mean by that is if you can just see in here, instead of picking the leaves up like that, like you do with the hat, you actually pick them up the opposite way. So I know it's good. I know it feels as though you're doing something strange, but you pick them up the opposite way, so that the bone of the leaf are on this side. There you go. Still made the fan just the same as you did a hat, but instead of the bones being on the outside, they're all in the middle, in the centre. So I hope you can understand how I've picked them up. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the same as I did the hat. I'm going from one side of one leaf and then tuck him into the opposite side to make the fan shape, like just the same as the hat. And then when you've got them all tied in, you'll see what sort of a shape you've got. So I'll do 1 or 2 or 3. You'll see how I'm doing it. And then what I'll do is I'll finish the rest off and just show you what pattern it makes and how to drop it back down inside the hat. Remember, you're making this from the top of the hat. So just watch me do the first few. So I'm starting with this one. There. I'm going on the opposite side. I'm tucking him in. And the reason I've got a flat on is I like to tuck them in here so that they don't spring out, so they don't move. Right. Next one. Next one. Next one. And you can see there, I've started now to form a dome rather than sticking out straight. And I'm going to go all the way around and then I'll show you what sort of shape it makes. So there you go. I've tucked all those leaves in now, and I've gone from one side of the leaves to the other and tucked them in and made that spiral shape. I've done a twist. Put a twist in the leaf to give you that sort of twist effect. Can you see? I hope you can see that there. So all that remains to be done now is to lower this now down to the bottom of the basket, because that's going to end up down here, inside here. So all I do now, if you just watch what I do, is I just release these leaves now, where I've had it tucked into the outer so that they've become loose. And then what I do then is start to tension it now. So if you just watch what I do, I use both hands. I pull on this one and push on this hand. So pull and push, pull and push. And you can watch it, you can physically watch it going down. But you have to do this very, very carefully and very slowly. You don't have to do it too much at a time, otherwise you'll either rip or it'll twist the leaf and damage the leaf. So you just do it a bit at a time. And you can see, already seeing that's going to starting to go down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tension that again, right? And I'll show you what that looks like after I've done that bit. So what I've done now is I've actually tensioned this all up. It's now gone down inside of the hat, inside of the bowl, sorry, and then you can see that it's nicely in the bottom, nice and neat looking nice and neat from both sides. So that's the finished thing. You can see it makes a nice pattern in the middle. If you can master this, it is definitely the best way to do the job. So I'm sure you'll agree. So just a tip for you, if you're doing this for the very first time, make sure that you number these leaves 1 to however many there are. Normally about 12 in a basket, which is a nice size. So if you number them and once you've got them in your hand, you'll be able to count them and make sure you don't get them out of order. Because if you get them out of order, it won't come out like that. So all that remains to do now, just to finish off, is I'm just going to tuck this leaf in the stitch that I started doing the weaving, like you do with a hat. So I've tucked it under there, look, right, so it's all nice and neat, and it looks like this, look. If you can see there, look, they're all nicely, these are all trimmed off. These are all trimmed off here, and they're all nicely tensioned up and making a nice shape. So hopefully you can see that. And I'm going to do the same with this one, and I'll show you what the finished article looks like. So there it is. I've tucked them all in now, and all I'm going to do is just trim these ends off now to make it nice and neat. So just bear with me a minute. There you go. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope I've shown you enough to show you how to actually do it. It's not going to be easy first time, so just keep persevering as best you can and try it, because these are more difficult to make than that's what I've experienced than the hats, especially this middle bit. But remember to number your leaves when you get to this bit. You'll do this bit easily, quite easily, but it's just this bit in the centre. You can make them all different sorts of sizes. Look, you get little ones, which are really neat, and lots of people like them. Just put a few grapes in, and lots of people like to take them home with them because they don't take up a lot of room in your hand luggage. And but I will say that the small ones are harder to make than the bigger ones. You've got more room because you can get your hands in the big ones. So start with the bigger one first. Well, thanks very much for watching again. As I say, I'm in Barbados. This is where they learnt me how to palm weave, and I hope you've got something from this video. If you like what you've seen, give me the thumbs up. I've enjoyed showing you how to do this and the hat, so click on that link I showed you earlier, show you how to prepare the leaves and where to get the leaves from and what sort of leaves you want. You do need them out the top of the tree. They're no good on the outside, I've already said on the other videos. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and thank you very much for watching.